time of powerful shifts and transformative energies. This is going to be a very profound eclipse season. And today we are going to be navigating all of that energy plus exploring Mars and Pisces, which is going to be the ruler of this April eclipse, and then the magical energies of Ostara or the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere, also known as Aries season, the start of our zodiac new year. So get your notes ready because we are here to grow and we are going to start out with cleaning out the broom closet. All right, so lots happening this week. And as you'll notice at the bottom of the week, there is one that is highlighted in brown in this lovely earthy toned color, because that is going to be one of our zodiac spotlights this week, this Mercury conjunct North Node in Aries. But before we can even get to that, we have a lot of other energy that is going to be present in supporting us. So on 3/12, so that will be Tuesday, Juno retrograde in Virgo, it will oppose Saturn in Pisces at 11 degrees 22 minutes. Then Sirius in Capricorn will trine Juno retrograde in Virgo at 11 degrees 21 minutes. And then Sirius in Capricorn will sextile Saturn in Pisces at 11 degrees 24 minutes. So that kind of starts off our week on Twitchy Tuesdays, that Tuesday. Then we get to ingrain in the energy. Coming in, Mercury in Aries on the 14th will trine Pallas Athena in Sagittarius at 7 degrees 44 minutes. We get a breather, integrate the energy. And then on the 16th, the Sun in Pisces will square Vesta in Gemini at 26 degrees 10 minutes. Mercury in Aries will square Sirius in Capricorn at 12 degrees 27 minutes. And then the following day on 3/17, we will have that Neptune Cazimi at 27 degrees 22 minutes. We talked about that in episode 54, so you can go back there and kind of get more information about what that Neptune Cazimi energy is all about. Then we have our highlighted day of the week. So 3/18, our zodiac spotlight. Venus in Pisces will square Pallas Athena in Sagittarius. That happens at 8 degrees 8 minutes. Mars in Aquarius will trine Vesta in Gemini, 26 degrees 44 minutes. And the piece de resistance, Mercury conjunct the North Node in Aries at 15 degrees 46 minutes. So that is kind of our week this week, our astrological week. It's very interesting that we have a lot of the activation of our goddesses this week. It's kind of like in preparatoriness, getting us ready. That's kind of what this whole week, this whole segment, this whole episode 55 is going to be about. Let's go ahead and take it to the zodiac spotlight. So, decks are ready. We've got a bunch of things happening here. We already have some energies out in play. This is going to be our zodiac spotlight. So, welcome to a series of fortunate events. These fortunate events, we've got the magician leading us off, prominent energy, alchemizing of all the things that we can to make. I mean, look at how beautiful this card is. First of all, full power in purple. I love the color imagery. And you have this amazing alchemization, an amazing magician stemming from the source of self, the center of self, leading down into the earth, the pentacle, leading down into our earthly being and earthly body, but then also up into the infinity of the universe, the alchemization of the self here and the spiritual self above. Just, I love this card and I love that it came out first to really ground us into these energies as we go through the zodiac spotlight. We have the Hierophant present as well as the World. Don't necessarily know yet where these are going to come in from. I am sure they are going to guide us and direct us pretty quickly there. But we have eclipse season we're going to talk through. We're going to talk about Mars and Pisces. We are going to talk about the spring equinox and Ostara. But I want to ground into this series of fortune events. So we are gearing up spring equinox and Ostara. Here's the world. The world is changing. we are gearing up for the ultimate start, the ultimate new beginning, which is Aries season. Things are going to start picking up very quickly from here on out. You got kind of this might be where the Hierophant's coming from. You've got this kind of 2 week time frame to like get your messages in. I mean, obviously you can always manifest at any time in the year, but this is potent energy time to like, all right, what am I going to be working on in this zodiac new year? What am I going to be working on in the birth of the next zodiac timeline that I'm going to be going through? Getting your, ideas together, um, getting all of the things in line, not necessarily, again, cardinal signs are the start of something. It's not necessarily like, oh my gosh, I have to have all these pieces in line. But there are things that there's penance to be made. There's things that you're dissolving at the end of Pisces season. There's things that you're letting go of with this Hierophant here in order to usher in this kind of brand new world. So as things start to pick up, there are layers on layers on layers that are going to be occurring from now until the end of June. And then from there, it just picks up into a whole nother cycle. But just to kind of compartmentalize, to be able to take these in digestible doses to where we can actually work with the energy and not maybe feel overwhelmed with the energy. um, we're going to go from now until June. Okay, what does this energy look like? So I'm going to cover all of that in the Astrovision 2024 Q2 overview, which will be released to the Astrovision community this upcoming weekend. But for this Twitchy Tuesday, we're going to highlight a few of them that we can start to work with and start to integrate with. So strap in and prepare for a series of fortunate events. So the first one is this Mercury conjunct the North Node in Aries at 15 degrees 46 minutes. So this series of events is going to take us through June. This is a stop in a journey. It is a journey that is going to span time. It's a journey that's going to have multiple components to it. And know that when I give these dates that I have here are the exact dates of when each of the planets meet up with the North Node in Chiron. But the energy will build before that and then will release after that. So, you need to give it an orb. And that really also depends using your own discernment, using your own intuition on when these things start to show up for you in your typical day-to-day life. That's why journaling is so important. That's why inner standing is so important. That's why reflection is so important. Because what you may find, and I've found in my own personal experience, is sometimes I experience these energies depending upon the planet, depending upon where it's pinging for me. I'll experience these energies a few days before. It will give me a little like, hey, there's something to watch for here, so I can be prepared for the actual event itself. So on 318 to 320, Mercury will meet up with the North Node, then with Chiron. On 4-4 to 4-8, the Sun will meet up with the North Node and then Chiron. And that's going to give us our great Chiron eclipse on 4-8. On 417 to 421, Venus will meet up with the North Node, then with Chiron. Ooh, look at that. What do we have here? The Nine of Wands and the Ten of Wands. Oh, all right, right in line. Boom and boom. Mercury will also, in his retrograde, be hanging out with Venus in the North Node and Chiron. So that's another energy signature there. And then on 519 to 529, Mars will meet up with the North Node and then Chiron. So I love that it's a 9 and a 10 that's showing up here, because it is going to be this push and pull between these energies, between the personal planets. So you have this push and pull between the personal planets that are coming through. You also have this push and pull between the North Node and Chiron. So each planet and luminary, being the sun, will meet up with the North Node first. Then it will go between the North Node and Chiron. Then it will pass Chiron. So it is again, a few, depending upon the planet, depending upon how it works with you, maybe even a week of energy that gets tugged and pulled between this 9 and this 10, between this Hierophant, between the world. But what all is grounding us in is this magician energy, what it is affording us on high and in the physical realm. And that all starts with what is occurring within. This is Chiron. This is the North Node. These are our personal planets. This is the sun, our visionary, our luminary of how we perceive things in the world. So all of this comes straight back to self. And so this is the journey that we are going to be headed on. We have Chiron in the North Node. What is that? What is the Chiron and North Node really about, especially as it's in Aries? Healing forward. How do you heal forward? Again, you've got the Hierophant here, deep healing, deep spiritual healing. Healing towards your or for your highest purpose. Alchemizing, the magician. Healing that gets you to the next step in your destiny path, the world. The next, like, look, even this card, even her hair is like this change of things, this going forward into the next direction, heading in the next evolution. Healing your soul and wanting to ensure, like, your soul came here with a very particular purpose in mind. And obviously that may not be your belief system. That's my belief system. So your soul wanted to ensure that you incorporated something in this life, healed through something in this life. And that is what is being triggered right now. So it's this 9 of Wands, which by all accounts kind of looks like in this deck, kind of a little bit of a frustrating card, right? It's almost like I had everything fortified and then my scarecrow like fell down. Like, why does my scarecrow keep falling down? Why do I continue to have to like tie up this scarecrow? Um, I thought I had all the things in line. And it's this meet up between the North Node Chiron and the planets, and in the sequence that they meet up in, might sound something like this. How do you understand, think, and speak about it? Whatever this it is for you, right? So here you might have had a little frustration, a little setback, a little um awareness that the foundation wasn't as solid as you might have thought. It's good, but it needed something a little, there's something little more that is needed here. So how do you understand, think, and speak about it? Right? Is this frustration, or is this, you know what? Thank you for showing me where my scarecrow wasn't exactly fortified, because I don't want all of these crows eating all of my poppies here, or all of my flowers, all of my garden, all of my harvest. Like, that would have been a detriment to me and my family. So how are you understanding what's occurring to you at this time? The Hierophant, the world, the magician, and how are you thinking and speaking about it outwardly? Because this is all, what's up in here. And then how does that come out? That's where Mercury, North Node, and Chiron come in. Then a little under a month later, a couple weeks later, you've got the sun meeting up. This is, how do you see this? How is this being seen? How do you own your experience? How do you integrate your experience? How do all of these things, this alchemization, the Hierophant, the world, the 9 of Wands, how do all of these things, and I'm moving this one over here now because this is the space that we're dealing in, because this is where we're going. Let me just show you where we're going. Path opens up. What I love about this deck and this card is look at there's perspiration on this man. They both have these bundles of watermelons, right? This vitality, which I love that we're in Pisces season. By the way, happy Pisces new moon, everyone. Um, I love that we're in Pisces season, Pisces being the deep ocean. A wonderful offering to give at the ocean is watermelons. That is one of Yemoja's favorite offerings to get. So, like cutting up a watermelon, leaving some at the ocean, or throwing a watermelon into the ocean. Um, so, there's this symbolism still with the water here, even though this is a fire card. We're going to talk a lot about fire water dynamics here in a second when we get to Mars and Pisces. So I love that this card is here symbolizing that. But this is hard work, right? This is what I love about this 10 of Wands. So we are getting a perspective because you've got all of this. This isn't the card. We are looking through the looking glass at what is possible. What is possible through hard work, through belief, through faith, through um, how we understand, think, speak, how we see it, how we own it, how we integrate it, how we feel about it, how we align it to our values, how we take action on it. This is what we get from that. We get this beautiful, like we're abundant. First off, we've got all of the abundance in our watermelons here. I was just seeing, was it last night? On TikTok, there was old, like 18th century or something like that quips, like things people used to say to each other, and one of them was like have like something about pumpkins, like having amazing pumpkins. So like melons, gourds, pumpkins, watermelons, anything of that nature, the cantaloupes, these are all signs of fertility. They're all signs of abundance. And you've got your house on the hill. Like this is the dream that we're going towards. This is the dream that all of our work, all of our actions are leading us towards. We're obviously not there yet. Look at all this space between here and here. There's action points between these two. There's things that need to alchemize. There's deep faith that's needed to get from point A to point B. There is a change of season, a change of tides. It's understanding that from here to here doesn't happen in this line. It probably happens in this line. For some people, maybe it's just like this. For others, maybe it's like that. Any roads to Zion? Going to be talking about that. So, how do you see it? How do you own it? How do you integrate it? That's where the sun and the North Node and Chiron come from. Then, 2 weeks after that, we get Venus meeting up. How do you feel about it? How is your alignment? How is it in alignment with your values and worth? And then we end with Mars meeting up. How do you take action on it? How do you begin to go from here to here? What are all of these wands actually be? Well, if you look at this card, they obviously had to go harvest. So there's an action. They obviously had to walk from their home to wherever they're going. There's an action. They obviously had to fill the basket. There's an action. There's so much action within this card and to get them to this space. They had to plant the seeds way back here somewhere. So lots of action can be taken, but right now we're in the visionary stage of it. We are in the Piscean visionary area of it. We are still here. And then when Mercury comes in, again, it's, oh, okay, I'm understanding more about what I'm about ready to go through. And then this is going to be a process, again, all the way through till June. Now, one thing that is really amazing about this poignant time is all of these meetups with the North Node and Chiron are going to happen at 15 degrees of Aries. That is the literal midpoint of the birth of the zodiac. Boom, right in the middle. Midpoints of any sign are an opportunity to pivot on your path if necessary. So in Aries, this pivot, it might be a pivot on any intentions or anything that you have been driving towards, or anything new that you are birthing. So that could be from today, right? We've got the Pisces new moon. We might be setting some intentions today, our intentions over the next 2 weeks for getting to Ostara and the zodiac new year. So we may set whatever we want this vision, this end to be. And then we start kind of working backwards. And by, what? March, April, May, June. Well, April, May, June. Yeah. We get time to identify the path. Maybe we were going up here and we need to come back here. Maybe we're going this direction and we just need to stay in that direction. Cool. That's even better, right? So it's this understanding and the ebb and flow of how the magic is coming through, how the information is coming through, how we're dealing with the changes, how we're speaking, thinking, feeling about it, how we're moving with the energy and utilizing that to our advantage. So anytime um anytime you're at these 15-degree points, especially in this particular story, it's a moment to pause and ensure that the direction you are headed is the one that serves you at this time. Now, it's important again, what were we doing? All paths lead to Zion. It is important to understand that you are never not on the right path. If you have this and your path to get here looks like, I mean, it could even just come all the way, fall off. You are never not on the right path. There are paths that detour you. That is what it is. And, can get you on this Jeremy, Bearimy sort of trajectory. All these midpoints are all of the conversation at any point in time. You are given the opportunity to change that direction. Cool. I was way over here. You know what? That was taking me up to the top. I wanted to be here. So let me redirect. Let me change some things. Let me adjust some things. So when we get to May and the Mars conjunction, that will occur at 14 degrees, 57 minutes. So we've got, March, April, and then into that May. So, excuse me, we have Mercury, Sun, and Venus at 15. Mars will be at 14. And yes, it's fine. You can say 15 degrees because it's 14 degrees, 57 arc minutes. We are almost there. And that would be valid. But it is such a potent time right now that the exactness is really good to highlight because I get the feeling that that moment where Mars is meeting up with the North Node and then with Chiron is about taking a step back in order to help you move forward. So it's almost like I needed to not be at that midpoint. I needed everybody else to kind of go before me to see where I need to take action. And then I can pump the brake a little bit. I can settle back in a little bit. It's kind of like switching lanes on the freeway, right? I don't need to speed up to do that. You have options. You can speed up, go 80 miles and try to get over, or you could slow down. You can pump the brake, slow down, switch lanes. And that's this 14 degrees 57. Slow down, pump a brake, sit back, then switch your lane, then go forward. I did get the image as I was thinking through this about a robot lifting a car. So, yeah, this must be all the Piscean energy, a shipping container. You have on the dock a vehicle. The vehicle is in its container. It needs to get on the boat, right? Now, the vehicle can do a whole bunch of things on the dock, way more things than it can do on the boat. However, the boat is where it needs to be. The boat is taking it somewhere. The boat's doing something. Well, The robot, the mechanical whatever is going to grip the crane, is going to go down and it's going to grip the box, it's going to grip the car, and it's going to lift it and it's going to take it over to the boat and set it on the boat. That act of suspension, where the car and the container that it is in is no longer on the earth, but it's also not on the water. That act of suspension to me is before you're set into the space that you need to. That is Mars with the North Node in Chiron, 14 degrees, 57 minutes. Set back. Be in that act of suspension before you take off and do the next thing. So I'm going to be doing a series on this with the Sabian exploration. So you can always find that on YouTube and X. I'm really excited to dig into the Sabian symbols for each of those and how that interplay between the North Node Chiron and the individual planet can provide that level of flavor um, with whatever the Sabian symbol imagery and symbology brings to it. So again, you can find that on YouTube and X. So the next series of fortunate events we have going on is Mars in Pisces. So I'm going to put these, do I want these back? Oh, before we even get there, my apologies. Let's pull a guidance card, an oracle card. I'm going to do this for each of these and like, okay, where could this energy settle? And I chose the whispers of love because I loved that one, it said whisper. Like that's really what drew me to this. It's always all about coming back to love, right? But the whisper, because a lot of these things are in the quiet spaces right now. A lot of what we're going through is very internal. It's very quiet. It's very we're not in Aries season just yet. It's, things might not be in fire, in action, in our purview. So wanted to bring in kind of that like very soft and soothing guidance, healing, whatever is needed during this time. So this series of fortunate events is in the realm of the meetups with the North Node and with Chiron, Mercury, Sun, Venus, Mars. So, what is your guidance, ancestors? Thank you so much for speaking to me and speaking through me so I can continue to work on this planet and walk my destiny path. What is your guidance with the whispers of love during these meetups with the North Node and Chiron? Miracles and blessings. Miracles and blessings. Everything has its gift. Yes. All right. So there's this kind of like dissipation of fall. There's this, I mean, each of these look like they have a little like dream in them. They like this little leaf right here looks like it has the fire element. This looks like it has a house. This looks like it has an individual. Like this looks like the beach. This is a ship. And it's these like things are just out of reach, but they're there. These are dreams. These are wishes. These are miracles. These are blessings. These are, again, this 10. It's what we are working towards. Not in our hands yet, not in our grasp yet, but they're there. So let's take a look and see what this says. It's, number 13 as well. All right. So everything has its gift. You drew this card because there are many miracles happening in your life right now. And how? The angels are asking you to look at how things are. Look again. You will find that your life is filled with miracles and blessings. Reflect on who you are and your journey to this point. Recognize and accept the blessings that have occurred in your life. Situations that were not ideal brought their own gifts and lessons. Your existence began with the spark of a miracle. Continual blessings and miracles continue to show up in the smallest of ways. Be willing to receive these gifts. An ethereal goddess with flowing hair reaches to catch a leaf from the various leaves floating near her grasp. Hair can represent thoughts or reasoning. Check in with your self talk and beliefs. Are you open to a miracle? Be ready for the unexpected. That was so good for that series of fortunate events. Yes, please. Okay, we are putting this just like this up here so I can still see it in case the energy needs to come back. All right, next up, we have Mars in Pisces. So our next series of fortunate events. Mars will enter into Pisces on 3/22 at 6:47 p.m. Central. So this series of fortunate events are tied up with the upcoming Mars-Saturn conjunction and the great Chiron eclipse we're going to have in April. So Mars in Pisces flavor. Let's kind of talk about it. When you think about Mars in Pisces, it kind of isn't a natural fit. Um, Mars is more aligned with fire than with water, but if you truly pull back to dive in, some of the greatest warriors and most determined species of the known world come from the depths of the ocean. So even though it kind of might not seem at surface level that it would fit, how is new land made? I lived on the great islands of Hawaii. New land is literally made from fire underwater that bubbles and then creates surface. And then, you go through the whole I mean, it's the process, don't get me wrong. But it's those things where, again, at surface level, it doesn't seem like it would be something that would alchemize well, but it really does. Like it really does. So I wanted to kind of go through and just talk about like these great warriors from that water perspective. So you have Proteus, Poseidon, you have Sirens, you have Achilles, you have Midness, you have Ore Ye Ye Oshun, you have Yemonja, Olokun, Agawe. And that's just to name a few. Like there are a lot of very powerful warriors that are aligned with the water element, excuse me. So think about the species that we have at the depths of things, how they have to adapt to thrive. They are literally embodying that war spirit archetype just to live. So to kind of hit home on this Mars and Pisces archetypal journey, um, Achilles is the one that I think really fits here. So Achilles, obviously, whoop, hello, the lovers love that. The alchemization of water and fire. Okay, we can definitely get down with that. So Achilles fits Mars to a T, right? Warrior, great warrior. Um, However, Achilles in mythology was dipped by his mother in the river Styx. And that is what made him invulnerable outside of his, of course, heel. And that's what granted him all of his extraordinary strength was this dipping in the river Styx by his mother. So even though Achilles absolutely could have stood on his own as a great warrior without the blessing of the water, it was the water that granted him the opportunity to achieve the mythological status he has. All he had to do was just do the work. He just had to use that to his advantage. He had to lead his life. He had to go through the things. He had to go through his trials, his tribulations. He had to perform all of those things. But that water blessing actually supported him in being able to become that mythological energy. So while there is a lovers a polarity at play, with Mars and Pisces, if alchemized, it's another reason why I love that the magician came out here. If alchemized correctly, it can lead to super profound magic. So, there can be a restlessness that can come over, and it's finding the right action inside in the depths. That kind of action that you need to take when nobody else is watching, it's just you on you. And this is where a lot Mars and Pisces, this is where a lot of integrity can be triggered, especially given the fact that Saturn and Neptune are here. So, on Mars's immediate entrance into Pisces, he will start to apply. Oh, hello. Oh, look at that. Okay, well, this is going here. Then we're going to get there. All right. So, death came out as well as the Nine of Cups. So, we've got the Lover's death and the Nine of Cups. Oh, let me bring that down for y'all. Okay. So, Mars's immediate entrance into Pisces. So, he had this meetup in Aquarius, Venus, they came together. They had this beautiful union. Venus is going on. She's kind of, taking away and going a little bit forward from Mars. Mars is going to be following behind her. Um, and coming into Pisces, here's this, again, unique opportunity to find ways to not be at the surface level of things, but to really go deep and figure out this alchemy, this harmonization between the fire and the water. And once that Mars starts kind of swimming in the deep, there's this conjunction with Saturn. Hello, the death card. And I love that death takes the form in this deck as a female energy. You have again more gourds, more pumpkins here. Um, and you also have the fire, the bonfire in the background. You've got the eclipse. Look at that. Eclipse coming up, which Mars is the ruler of this eclipse. And here is the legitimate representation of Saturn, the sin. That's, I mean, it's even in his glyph. So when Mars gets into Pisces, we apply that conjunction to Saturn and an extension, the conjunction that he will make to Neptune after. So the exact conjunction will happen on 410 at 14 degrees 41 minutes of Pisces. Another like just right under a midpoint, another series of fortunate events. And this is a few days after the great Chiron eclipse, which Mars rules and will be the energetic signature of that eclipse chart. So there is something very profound here that is starting a series of fortunate events that is taking us through the next stages of our regeneration cycle, of the death birth cycle, of, I mean, look at this nine of chalices, the birth of something amazing, the birth of something transformative, the birth of something that is like I know ladybugs have an energy signature. I know there's sometimes luck. I'm not sure what else they have, but this ladybug is so big on here that what does it mean for you? And you have this kind of like all of these cups are singing and pointing their vibrational energy towards the happiness. Like there's a lot of joy here. There's a lot of spiritual fulfillment here. There's a lot of ability to like pour into what is coming next, pour into yourself, pour into the actions that you're going to be taking. But you got to get through that darkness. You got to get through the that change. You got to get through the regeneration first. So a few episodes ago, and I love that there's water present here. So a few episodes ago, I had asked y'all in the Twitchy tip of the week to think about what water means to you and then go deep. Like Surface level, this is a lot. I'm hearing just how this is all coming out. There's a lot about what's on the surface of things and then really getting down to the depths of things. So, what does water mean to you? But then go deeper. What does water actually mean to the world? And when Mars and Saturn conjunct in any sign, this death is so profound right here, because it's like Achilles getting captured or offering himself up as collateral for ongoing negotiations. More aptly, since most of us know the story of the Trojan horse, that can be a familiar story. This conjunction is like a Trojan horse. By accounts, the men inside of the horse waited for 3 days and 3 nights. We have three cards. We've got divisions of three on the um on on the decks. So you have 3 days and 3 nights. They were halted in this horse. Halted. That is a Mars Saturn conjunction keyword. Halted. Before they could emerge. Remember, I talked about like the little robot arm, that suspension. Here we go again. So they were halted before they could emerge from the horse and fulfill what their steps and their plans were, in getting into the horse in the first place. So imagine being in the Trojan horse, like put yourself there. Close your eyes, go and do some meditative state. Put yourself in that Trojan horse. First off, you're with what? 23. I know there's so many different accounts. I think like 40 might be a magic number, but whatever. Definitely over 25, between 25 and 50 men stuffed into a horse together. That is cramping. That's uncomfortable. Somebody, like, y'all are obviously peeing on each other because for 3 days, somebody's got to go. Who knows where, like, really put yourself into those conditions and what they were willing to do, right? To make their dreams a reality. Go back to that 9 and that 10, miracles and blessings. What they were willing to sacrifice. Now, we all ain't got to get that extreme, obviously, but stick with the concept. They were halted. So there's also not just that, but there's a huge amount of anticipation, a huge amount of suspense, all confined in this horse, in this tight ball, and Mars Saturn conjunction in this tight moment. Will we prevail? Will we come out favorable? Is this going to work? Are things going to change? Is is this going to occur? Now, all of those questions, I guess, truly depend upon if you're in the horse or if you're in the city that they sacked after they got out of the horse. There's always a villain in every story. There's a hero, villain, typically, right? So, what side of that are you on? And when it comes to this Mars and Saturn conjunction, especially being in Pisces, you'll want to watch again these Nine of Cups. You'll want to watch that haltedness, that suspension, the anticipation, the suspense, um, the confinedness of things around water. So that could be boats, shipping, waterways, the clogging of water, explosions of water, explosions underwater that kind of like create something new or unveil something, creation of new land underwater. So there's a lot here that is occurring. There's a lot that's alchemizing. There's a lot that, um, Mars and Pisces is going to be going through. Plus, then through all of that, again, you've got to remember Mars is also responsible. He is the ruler of the great Chiron eclipse. How does Mars and Pisces flavor work with you? How does a Mars and Pisces flavor then work into that great Chiron eclipse story? So let's get another Whispers of Love card for this journey of Mars in Pisces. What is your guidance for Mars's time in Pisces? What is your whisper of love for Mars's? Oh, thank you. For Mars's time in Pisces. Receive with love and appreciation. Gracious acceptance is a way to show love. Look at the peacock feathers and sign of Oshun. We've got all of these beautiful birds that are just coming out of the hair. We've got water present. You've got that fiery Aries sun here, and you've got water now also turning into a solid in the form of a um, snowflake. So let's take a look. It's number 34. Let's take a look at what the book says about it. Gracious acceptance is a way to show love. Being courteous when someone gives you something is simple consideration. The angels encourage you to graciously receive as an act of kindness. Allow someone to express love by accepting what they want to do for or give to you. Being appreciative expresses your feelings through action. Is that not the literal definition of Mars Saturn in Pisces? Being appreciative expresses your feelings through action. Mars wants action. And in Pisces, that is quite challenging. But appreciation is expressing those feelings through action. That was wonderful. Extend your gratitude by saying a heartfelt thank you to those who take the time to help you. Yo, you're suspended. You're in a Trojan horse. Maybe when you're in the Trojan horse, it's time to say, y'all, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate y'all before we, head out. And who knows if we're all going to get killed or if we're going to prevail. It has been an honor to serve with you. It has been an honor to have you in my life. It has been an honor to, witness your growth. Yes. Showing appreciation is good manners. It demonstrates your respect for someone's time, knowledge, energy, or assistance, and that you truly realize what has been given to you. Open gratitude connects you to the giver in a deeper way. A sincere appreciation of people and their role in your life creates a mutual connection. Here you have the Hierophant again, right? There's this supplication here. An appreciation as the world turns, the season turns, an appreciation for the sun. That's what Ostara is all about. Like, thank you, sun. Thank you, new life, for being birthed. Thank you, grass, for coming out. A nature sprite gently catches a snowflake in her hand. Snowflakes reflect a need for gentleness. You might interpret a snowflake as a message from heaven. The doves around the sprite's head are confirmation that your feelings and intuition are connected to your divine guidance. Um, Mars square Uranus, which just occurred yesterday. Mars is in Aquarius, but Mars in Aquarius at this degrees, which is so great that we're talking about Mars in Aquarius right now, or excuse me, we're talking about Mars right now, albeit into Pisces. That Sabian symbol, which is live now on my YouTube and on X, talked about the dove, talked about a white dove, talked about the bringing of peace. So here's another dove symbolization coming out. You can expand this guidance by willingly expressing your appreciation. This is a signal that you are open to receiving further guidance. Once you do this, your blessings will be limited. Love it. All right. What is next? Ooh, we got Chart Chronicles coming up next. That is right. Bam. Now let's move on to our chart chronicles and our next two series of fortunate events, the equinox or Ostara spring equinox up on the northern hemisphere. and the Libra lunar eclipse. So this is the chart for the equinox or the start of Aries season. What you can see here is that we have the sun here exactly at 0 degrees of Aries. This is the birth. This is the moment of Ostara. This is the moment of the brand new. This is the start. This is the start of the first cardinal sign of the zodiac. This is the start of the first fire sign of the zodiac. This is the start of spring. It's the start of everything. It's like the start of just permeates this energy of this chart and really what we're going to be moving towards. Like, obviously, this happens once a year. I can't think of in the last, I don't even know how long, the last for sure since 2020, like a good solid 3, 4 years, that I have felt this much potential, this much firstness, this much starter energy as I do going into this equinox, going into this new season. So, what are you starting? What are you going to do once it starts? Like, this is the thing with cardinal energy. Like, okay, we're starting something. We're alchemizing something. We've got some magician here, we've got some hierophant here, we've got some world here, we got some things moving, we got the major arcana. But what are you going to do with it once it starts? Um, you know, we have the moon up here. 3 degrees of Leo at the time, at the exact moment of when the sun ingresses into Aries. 3 degrees of Leo, 49 minutes. Okay. How are you developing yourself? That Leo moon, that's what that Leo moon wants to know about. How are you developing self? How are you developing authenticity? How are you developing authority? Authenticity, authority. How are you developing and alchemizing the magic within? How are you looking at your miracles and blessings? How are you receiving with love and appreciation? How are you playing with childlike wonder and taking this moment to look into going back to, hold on, let me get it. Going back to this, how are you looking through the mirror glass? At this 10 of wands, how are you looking through the mirror glass with childlike wonder? How are you carrying on with the 3? This is a 3-degree moon. How are you carrying on the legacy of your lineage? What is stabilizing in your self-worth, in your faith? What still needs stabilizing? And that comes in down here with this soon to be conjunction between Venus and Saturn in Pisces. So you can see here, like Mars is making his way. Mars is not in Pisces yet. Remember, like he'll get there. But this needs to happen first. And that conjunction, this working towards that conjunction heading into the new zodiac year, what is stabilizing in your self worth? That's what Saturn brings. Saturn brings that stability in your faith. Saturn in Pisces, all about the faith. And what still needs stabilizing in that area? Well, now, look at that. Look at that gem coming out. We have the 8 of Cups coming out as we're talking about Venus and Saturn. How has the self changed since 2008? That is all because of this energy. That is your North Node. This is where the eclipses were. We are in a cycle that started in 2008. How are you feeling about all of that? Like, I love in this deck how we've seen a couple of these cup cards, right? And it's always like the cups are, I'm seeing Fantasia in my head, or like a cartoon where like the flowers, the things that are going on around it are observers to the story that's actually being played out in the cartoon. And like I see these cups here and they're like observing what's happening and like trying to put their harmony, put their resonance, put their energy out into the world, like capturing the feeling, the moment, the needs of things. So that way it can help on the journey. It can be solace. It can be like somebody is there witnessing your story. The observer in you, your Ori, your higher self, being there to witness your journey, your ancestors. You were never truly alone. And so stabilizing your self-worth, stabilizing your faith. What else might need stabilizing? Stabilizing your home life, stabilizing your love life. These are all Venus ruled areas. Stabilizing your security, stabilizing your ability to procreate, put things out into the world, birth things out into the world. Um, we've got an 8 here, the world, we continue to talk about. We have an 8 up here in the magician, right? How have you changed? How has this story, this 8 of Cups story, changed for you as we have gone through this cycle? How has it changed? How are we going to initiate ourselves into 2025 and 2026? Because that is the series of fortunate events that we are working towards. This is the start. This is the start of having our ducks in the row. It's the start of connecting our dots between inner authority, faith, and trust. We've have Jupiter and Uranus building to their April 20th conjunction. So here's Jupiter and Uranus up in Taurus, building to their conjunction on 420 at 21 degrees 50 minutes, arc minutes. That is building. We have Saturn and Neptune. So here's Saturn. Here is Neptune. These two here are working their way into Aries. They are like, this is an energy that we are literally suspended in. This is an absolute suspension energy that won't come to it's like being in it's like sitting in an orchestra and like the tempo is just building, even a rave, like where that tempo is just building and you're like, come on, drop the fucking beat, drop the beat. I want it. I feel it. Like you get the goose pimples on your skin and you're ready to just like let go and rip it off. That moment, Saturn and Neptune building in Pisces, that moment don't happen till 2/20/2026. We got time, y'all. There is what? Time. I love that we have Jupiter and Uranus on 420, and then we get Saturn, Neptune on 220, granite years apart, but still like these 20 energies, this 2 energy. Think about the energy of the number 2. Also, I love that that's divisible by 8. Or I'm sorry, 8 is divisible by 2. So, we get the 5 of swords coming out, wanting to play. Let's see what else we have. So, Saturn and Neptune building in Pisces is dissolving. Thank you. That's what I wanted. Okay. Saturn and Neptune in this build up to 2026 is dissolving, 5 of swords, dissolving all the shit that is needing to be dissolved. all of it, dissolving all the shit. Look at this Five of Swords. It's kind of hazy. There's some grayness. There's some fog. It's really dark. There's a war that's been happening. It is that warrior. It's just going through the battles, the internal battles of life, the Piscean battles of life. So they can meet up in their, by the way, only conjunction. They tiptoe around. They literally only have one conjunction, and it is at 0 degrees of Aries on 2/20/2026. Dude, astrology is so dope. Astrology is so dope. The one Knight of Pentacles, the literal one conjunction on 2/20/2026 at 0 degrees of Aries. What? That, my friends, is a legitimate whole new world. Whole new world. In fact, we're going to do this like we did for the first segment that we talked about. Whole new world. To get there, 8 of Chalices and 5 of Swords. This is the energy that we're going to be moving through. And it is truly the birth of a new era. This Knight of Pentacles, this knight is going to be crowned king one day. Like this knight is, like for all intents and purposes, let's just call him in the middle of his, like in that time space where you have to be suspended and wait before you can be coronated, that like wait time, he is getting coronated. So this is becoming a king. You are becoming your sovereign. Sovereign of self, sovereign of XXX, whatever is shaping up for you. 8 and 5. 8 of Cups, 5 of Swords. You got to get through it first. But that era, this birth of a new era that we're all going through, this, we're going to use purple because purple. This birth of a new era all starts here. It all starts in this chart. Every single piece of it. It's going to start taking shape. It already is taking shape. With the equinox, with what's coming up, with all of these things, this is taking shape. And it is about making the progress in yourself around the themes. And the Hierophant's going to come right up here in the center. Boom, our foundation, whole new world, going to be coronated. But that tip, that Leo moon up at the top of that chart right there, this tip, it is making progress in yourself around themes of faith. Hierophant. So that when this arrives, you can do something with it. When this occurs, you can do something with that work, the themes of faith that you've been working for, that will literally shoot you forward. I mean, this is an arrow shooting yourself forward, pointing to the direction that you want to be, and it will be for the rest of your life. That's the crazy thing. Neptune takes 165 years to get around this bad boy. That means this Neptune right here, when it hits this mark line right here at Aries, that was 165 years ago that occurred. Now, look, I am not going to sit here and say that some of us on, what did I say, 2/20/2026, whoever is alive on 2/20/2026, I'm not going to say that they won't make it to the next Neptune at 0 degrees. 165 years may be possible. Who knows what's going to happen with Pluto and Aquarius? Who knows what's going to happen over the course of the Aquarian age? So some of us absolutely may live to see 165, this full Neptune transit. But reality, this is where my Saturn comes in from. This is where the Saturn in Pisces is coming in from. Is the reality is most of us probably will not. So this is that point where it is slingshotting us into a new era, the direction, the point of a new era that will outlive us and be able to be carried on by those who come after us. It's like, the time is now. The time is now, my friends. The time is now. Getting through this Eight of Chalices and this Five of Swords. Like, how are you? Again, I'm going back to these miracles and blessings, receiving with love and appreciation, this magician shining this beautiful light from the center of self onto this. This, y'all, I hate to say this, but I'm going to. No, I'm not even going to lie to y'all. I don't hate to say this. This is self-inflicted. If this is occurring, step back. What is this trying to teach me? What inside of me is being triggered? What is occurring that I can help support a change in? Come back to self. Come back to how this is manifesting for you. Um, and then what changes you can make to get a different outcome. It's keep moving, heal, thrive, and grow. It's why it's my mission. Heal, thrive, and grow. And like grow, thrive, heal, thrive, grow, heal, thrive, heal, grow. It can be in any order it needs to be. Hold, please. That wanted to fly on the ground. Have patience. Love is patient and kind always. So funny that this card comes up because this stone I just got yesterday and it's I think it's pronounced laricovite. And I was drawn to it immediately and then of course read it, and what did it say? Cultivating patience, which is on my goal list of 2024. Cultivating patience. It's actively being worked on. Again, eight of chalices, five of swords. Patience actively being worked on. Okay. So 17, here is another eight out here. Have patience. Love is patient and kind always. So you have this child in a lotus flower. Underneath, again, more water. Like there's always water right now in these guidance cards, which is wonderful. But underneath is like an actual, it kind of looks like the land versus an actual underground sea. So it's kind of like this, the alchemy between what is above and what is below. So let's take a look and see what it says in here. Love is patient and kind always. Work on being more patient. If you lack patience with others, remember that they are human and different from you. If your impatience has to do with an outcome, know your prayers are being answered. Have a little more patience. You might be in a tense situation that is beyond your control. I'm seeing, again, look at what they're sitting on top of. Intense situation that might be out of your control. Be aware of the thoughts that precede any frustration or anxious feelings. Pay attention to your self talk. All things arrive in their perfect time. Try to distract yourself while you are waiting for things to come to fruition. Engage in activity that will occupy your time. Y'all, puzzles are wonderful. Reading is wonderful. Journaling is wonderful. Um, walking, being in nature, hugging a dog, doing the things. The time will magically pass while you are otherwise engrossed. Look for ways to be patient. A small child contemplates the water while floating on a lotus flower. Lotus flowers rise from still and muddy water to provide grace and beauty. Whoa, hold on. Lotus flowers rise from still and muddy water to provide grace and beauty can come from gloomy circumstances. To prove where provide was coming from, I don't know. Behind the girl, waterfalls flow into the body of water that she glides on. This may indicate an arrival from various points and not one singular event. So that may indicate arrival from various points and not one singular event. So as we have this eclipse season starting, this is kind of the whole impetus of what we have been talking about. Things may show themselves in, oh, okay, we're done with this. We're done with this one too. All right, great. Great. Things may show themselves in multitudes of different ways. There's a lot of energy that's going to be revving and starting. So, again, this is a series of fortunate events. There's that waterfall. All right, now moving on to our last series of fortunate events for this episode, we are moving on to this chart, which is the prenumbral lunar eclipse. So this is a Libra lunar eclipse. What do I want to do? We're going to do gray. I like the gray. Let's do some gray for this lunar eclipse. So here's the node, the south node. Here is the moon. Here is the sun. They are opposing each other. Well, okay. They're kind of opposing each other. Let me get that. Can I get this erased? Maybe. That kind of looks like the moon's opposing Venus, and that's just not right. There we go. All right, let's come back. So, moon and the sun. We're going to go here. Boom. Boom. Moon and sun opposition. So when we have lunar eclipses, those are always full moons. Solar eclipses are new moons. So this is going to happen on 3/25/2024 at 2 a.m. Central Time, 5 degrees, 7 minutes of Libra. Oops. All right. We have the Six of Swords coming out first. So a prenumbral lunar eclipse, just from an astronomy standpoint, let's level in with what that means. So from an astronomy standpoint, a prenumbral lunar eclipse is when the sun, earth, and moon are imperfectly aligned with each other. So what will happen is the earth will block some of the sun's light from directly reaching the moon. And that covers what we see on Earth will be a cover of all or part of the moon with the outer part of the shadow. So it will have this like little kind of shadowy vibe to it. Um, since this one is not total, it's not a total penumbral eclipse. It will be a very slim shadow on the moon seen from parts of Europe, Asia, South America, the Arctic and Antarctica, and then all of North America. And I actually have a diagram here that I found online where you can see like this is where everything will be visible. You see, you have Hawaii way over here. This actually goes all the way up to the top of the Arctic Circle, which I know is kind of cut off, but then comes down. So only parts of Brazil and South America, but you can see down here all of Antarctica, all of the Americas, some spaces in Europe will get it, but this is the visibility of the lunar eclipse occurring on 3/25/2024. So coming back to our chart here with, again, This moon for me, and we'll get to this Six of Swords. This card wants to come. Oh, look at this. The Empress with the moon. Look at that. Love that. Okay. Distracted. Okay. This one in particular signified to me reaching the 10 centimeter dilation stage. Okay, thank you very much. So when a baby is being born, this 10 centimeter dilation point is where the cervix is fully dilated and the baby descends down the birth canal. And as a female, you can finally begin to start pushing to give birth to a new life into this world. So just like giving birth, and why this imagery was so potent for this particular eclipse, just like giving birth is not actually the start of something. It is the start of new life. But from the mother perspective, which is the womb, the empress energy, the actual moon, the goddess, the moon, the empress, all of that, from the mother's standpoint, birthing is actually a midpoint, which is just exactly what this moon is, um, and this eclipse cycle. So the middle point between what occurred last October and what is to be 6 months from now. So this is the middle eclipse between the two outposts of eclipse on this Libra Aries axis. So something occurred last October. This is the middle section, and then something is going to kind of finalize, close out, begin to um solidify itself going into uh, September of this year, October of this year. So, just like from the mother's perspective, getting pregnant is actually the start. That would have been the first eclipse in October. The middle is the actual birth. I started, got pregnant, gestated the baby, boom, now I'm birthed, now I'm in the middle section. And then the life of the child, the actual raising of a new human life ends up being what is next, what is coming up, how those energies transition. So it's this moon is really a continuation of some sort of a story that you have been evolving through. And if you look at the cards indicate that, I mean, just as clearly, right? The Six of Swords. So for those that read tarot or have been watching, the Six of Swords typically in like a Rider Waite or other decks has the man and his family in the boat. The swords are actually in the boat. And the boat's already on the journey. Where in this deck, the Six of Swords is a man pushing his boat out into water. Like this is the start of something. This was October. This was the moment where this getting pregnant, the swords came down and was like, yo, bro, you're about ready to go on this whole journey. You're welcome. Get in your boat. Can't do nothing about it. Let's go and truck forward. So here you have that start. Then, since last October, there's been this gestation. There's been something growing. There's been something that is percolating. There's been something that's been developing inside. There's something that you have been alchemizing in the 5D, in the Empress's realm, in that internal realm. Then we have the Queen of Pentacles, this moon. Oh, boom, we're ready to go. We're ready to bring all of this goodness into the world. We're ready to get our the benefits, the security, the support, the foundation, the we're ready to take on what is actually being birthed into the world. Okay, we got that. Now, what's going to happen? Ace of Swords and Ace of Pentacles. I mean, yo, let me just put those like this. I mean, one, two, three, patow, all of the amazingness in the world. Look at that. Here you have this Ace of Swords, the ability, the insight, the intuition, the knowledge, the wisdom of going through this process that it's brought you. The actual alignment. Look at how straight this sword is. The actual alignment, an alignment that no matter what regenerates around it, no matter what changes occur around it, there is a solidness to your knowing. This is the card of no fucks given. Thank you very much. How can you give a fuck when you know? When you've got that wisdom, when you've got that self authority, think back to what we talked about here. This Leo moon right here, when you've got that, when you've got that down packed, you can sit in your power. You can sit on the foundation of all things. Then you get this Ace of Pentacles. I mean, look at that. Look at this sprite. Look at the gifts from the universe. Look at the unexpected places where things come in for you. Did you ever expect to have a sprite hand you all the things that you want? Nope. But you were, again, receiving with love and appreciation, having these miracles and blessings, having patience. You were willing to open yourself up to that. You were willing to go down this journey of birthing. You were willing to, you know, not be, you were willing to push your boat out in unknown waters, in uncharted territories. You were willing to have faith guide you. You were willing to own and stand in your worth that you actually did deserve all of those things. And now it's just blessing on blessing on blessing. Harvest year, going and going and going. There's an evolution here. I mean, yes, thank you. Again, goes back, receive. I accept and receive with love and appreciation. 100%. This all day, every day. Ease and grace. So the lunar eclipse, a couple other things to highlight here, and I'm going to use, we're going to use this like gold. We've got the Mars and Saturn flavor. Look, on this eclipse, look at who entered into Pisces 1 degree 47 arc minutes ago. And this is definitely happening. So applying, we're squeezing, we're in a point of suspension where, you know, that this might be where the clamp comes down on the box where the car is sitting in and begins to slowly lift. So there's a moment here. It does definitely flavor the energy of this moon since Mars is the ruler of this moon. There's a lot of things that are developing, right? Mercury is now moving away from Chiron in the North Node. This is still developing energy, this Uranus and Jupiter conjunction. There's a lot of things that are developing here, but they're not here yet. This, again, this is a three-part series. October, now, this Queen of Pentacles, this Ace of Swords, this Ace of Pentacles, this Queen is not here yet. It's developing. And these may begin to permeate, just like maybe some of this came in here and some of this came in here, whatever this looked like, right? You could get some flavors of this, but this doesn't ground yet. We're in this air and fire. It's not grounded yet. Okay. Hold the vision, trust the process. Hold the vision, You had a vision when you went out on this boat. Something pushed you out there. These swords pushed you out there. You still got that vision here. Hold the vision, trust the process. Just like in when you're having a baby, you have to trust that your body is doing the right things and the baby is doing the things that it needs to do in order to be birthed into this world. Hold the vision, trust the process. We have so many examples of faith, of like um how we can alchemize the faith of, like, again, Ostara in its own right is showing, oh my gosh, spring is here. The flowers bloom. A seed actually does grow into something. There are so many examples that we can take away to bolster our own faith that hold the vision, trust the process. All right, let's get our last and final guidance for. Whoa. All right. Well, okay. Well, this is it. That's what it wanted. All right. Relationship patterns 32. It takes strength to recognize the need for change. So she got a mirror. We got more waterfalls. This is the second card with waterfalls in it. We've got a harp here. There's a little cherub in here. Let's see what this says. 32. It takes strength to recognize the need for change. Consider the patterns that drive you to attract certain people into your life. You may find the next person you meet has similar qualities to your last partner. This is what you're energetically attracting. Once you learn the lessons, you will be able to attract healthier outcomes. It may be helpful to share the disappointment or pain from the past, whether from your current relationship or another period in your life. Be honest with yourself and address situations as they happen. Acknowledge that you can no longer stifle your feelings, knowing your strengths and your triggers. See your past relationships as opportunities to grow and figure out what makes you happy. You have a better chance at a lasting relationship when you have self awareness. Avoid idealizing past relationships as they can hold influence over future outcomes. Love will not magically make you feel worthy or happy unless you have achieved those values for yourself. Let me repeat that. Love will not magically make you feel worthy or happy unless you have achieved those values for yourself. A beautiful woman holds a hand mirror. She looks down at irises and a maiden playing a harp. The purple irises depict wisdom and power. It is time to cull through the residual emotions of past relationships. It's time to break your precedents. The harp is about striking a chord of truth within yourself. Alrighty then. That is where we are going to leave that today. Let me pull these all back so that way we can see them very clearly on the journey that we have been through today with the magician leading our way. Here we grow. Love it. All right. So, before we get to the twitchy tip of the week, we've got a lot of things happening over here. We are also going through our own cycle. And if you are just enjoying the journey, please consider giving us a cosmic blessing by hitting that heart or thumbs up, subscribing or following our channel, and exploring all of the other awesome content like those Sabian symbols I was talking about. If you are looking to deepen your journey into astrology, I have two active courses that are out there today, available right now. The first one is EFA Astrology. The second is Astrovision 2024. Astrovision is a free year-long focus on astrology, the astrology of 2024 with special overviews, exclusive tarot readings, and downloads. And it is all free when you sign up. EF Astrology is a 5-chapter learning session into planets, signs, and houses, and how astrology, if you do practice IFA, can support IFA's message. This is a self-paced learning course with a private live session to help you synthesize the knowledge. So to find all of those details, you can head over this way to habitualsages.com or follow the links found in the description box or on our profile page. Now, let's get in to the Twitchy tip of the week. If you are being called, answer. Go and drive those hours to see the eclipse. That total solar eclipse is going to be, if you're called, go. Go get that ticket to the show that you've always wanted to go see. Go get out on an epic quest, right? This is the start of something new. This is new energy. It is that time. Like, go set your soul on fire. Go set your soul on fire. That's my first twitchy tip of the week, is to just really embrace over these next 2 weeks, like let Pisces season do what Pisces season needs to do, needs to dissolve, but go do what sets your soul on fire. And as we end in Pisces season, ensure you are taking these next 2 weeks, especially today with this Pisces new moon, taking that new moon energy forward to journal about what you are dissolving and what you are birthing into the world. We talked a lot, like almost every discussion that we had today had this theme of midpoints to them and this ability to pivot, to change direction and getting into cardinal energy. You know, we are not meant to have the process figured out. That this is not the time of the steps, the process, the things to be figured out. This is starting energy. This is the newness. This is idea generation. We just need to know what direction to start working towards. It doesn't mean you need to know where the path starts. It doesn't mean you need to know what the path looks like. It doesn't mean anything, but what it does mean is don't discount, especially in these last 2 weeks, the things that are being unveiled to you, the things that are starting to get that like spark of soul interest in. Um, it doesn't mean you have to figure it all out. It's totally fine. That's what cardinal energy is all about. It's not about finishing. It's not about working down the path. It is simply about starting and where that starting point might be. So, looking at all of these cards again, miracle and blessing, receive with love and appreciation, have patience, relationship patterns. Just thank you all so much for going down this journey with me. We are on episode 55, and I thoroughly enjoy being here every week. I enjoy going through the charts. I enjoy how this is developing and growing, and that is because of each and every one of you. So I appreciate each of you. I definitely receive miracles, blessings, the love, feeling the energy and support, and I cannot wait to continue down this journey with y'all. So, as we wrap up this mystical journey under the moonlight, remember to stay tuned for more cosmic revelations every Twitchy Tuesday. We will be back to our regularly scheduled program on our 19th, on 3/19. Until next time, may your days be filled with enchantment, your nights be guided by the stars, and your spirit forever be in tune with the cosmic dance. Keep those third eyes open, my fellow Twitchy seekers. Blessed be and stay twitchy.